What's up, wonderful child of God? I am Y311H. I'll be your host on today's show. You are a fearfully, wonderfully, and perfectly made creature of God. Today's show, Good Vibe Soul, we shall be helping one another on our mission of spreading love, peace, honesty, forgiveness, and uniting all earthlings, my friend, so that we can all live in good vibes, constantly asking for forgiveness from our Maker. This message we shall be spreading it by reacting to good vibes videos. Mind-blowing videos, my friend. The type of videos that make you think that nothing is impossible in this world. Speaking of possible and impossibilities, let's hear what the book of knowledge is telling us today. This is what it says. Jesus looked at them and said, "With man, this is impossible, but not with God. All things are possible with God." That is from Mark 10:27. Interesting, right? All things are possible with God. Let's include our Maker in our today's show with a word of thanks before we start. Thank you, wonderful Father, for the word we've read from the book of wisdom. Thank you for reminding us of your goodness and love, Father. Dear Lord, thank you for your precious child that you've directed to this channel today. Dear Lord, thank you for the blessings in store for them through this episode. Thank you for the good vibes and uplifting that you shall pass to them, Father. Forgive them all their sins, dear Lord, and purify them. Set them in your ways, dear Lord, Father, and may they be the light from where they are watching from. And as you do great things for them, Father, include us also. May your Spirit guide us to the end, dear Lord, and we shall be grateful. In your holy name, Jesus Christ, we pray, trusting and believing. Amen. Let's dive in, good vibes. So,
Nobody has talked about this before. I have never seen this image, and that blows my mind. Do you have any idea what this macabre little collection is used for? Here, I'll give you a hint, because here's one of them in a bag. So what you're seeing here is still used today. As you can tell by the very human design, they were obviously made to fit easily into the body. Like, what is this? And somehow it just gets worse. Why does this look like a cookie cutter or a batarang? Or up here you have a grappling hook. Like, bruh, did somebody hire Batman to make medical devices? Where do they go? Right up your private parts in order to prevent pregnancy. If you're a dude and you just cringed, I want you to hold on to that feeling, because I want you to be able to identify with that unpleasantness even after you find out that these are for the ladies, people with uteruses. Yep, if you didn't know, they take something like this and they shove it right up the soul hole and basically just lodge it in here. This one you're seeing here was known as the Dalcon Shield and was used as recently as 1971. And these weren't hormonal, they were of plastic infused with copper sulfate. And if you didn't know, copper is still used like this today. But because of this one's very friendly design, it was known to perforate the tissue around it, or become embedded in it. It also had a nylon string that allowed bacteria to wick up through this normally closed opening and infect the uterus and the pelvis. I have seen a lot of screwed up stuff, perplexing things, but this has spikes on it. Why? Anywho, can't wait to hear your thoughts on this.
Random spiritual information that I've learned from working as a past life regression therapist for 6 years. Number 1, your reality is a lot less real than you think it is. In fact, when you can detach yourself a little bit from reality, you can see that everything that you think is so dense and so real and so immovable is a figment of your creation, and all of it has to do with what you believe to be true. So if you wanted to change your reality, you have to change your assumptions about yourself and the world. In order to do that, you have to get in tune with what your subconscious beliefs really are. Number 2, time is an illusion, and there is only one moment, and that is now. You have an illusion of time being past, present, future, because the transition from past to present can measure change. So when you can pluck yourself out of time and see it kind of from above, and it's hard to understand what I mean unless you've experienced it, but when you are able to move up from the linear time frame and from your 3D lens of reality, you can see that there is all these snapshots of all of these moments that are all existing in the eternal now. Number 3, resistance causes suffering. Not only is this like a Buddhist philosophy, but resistance to something, resistance to a situation or to life is saying no, this shouldn't be happening. No, this isn't right. And when you have resistance in that way, you're essentially saying no to yourself, because the function of reality in this physical 3D experience, in this time space, is to mirror back to us the state of consciousness that we are at. So if you are experiencing something, it's because that exact thing was what you created with your state of being. So by looking at the reality and feeling like, no, this isn't happening, you're fighting the function of it. So if you do happen upon something that you don't like, you have to find a way of saying, okay, I own this. I'm curious about what this means, and how can this experience push me in the direction of more alignment and more things that feel good to me. Number 4, it is possible to clear and balance all of the karma your soul has ever incurred in any lifetime with the time you have left in this one life. Number 5, you are worthy of every single positive desire that you have for yourself, and you always have been and you always will be. If you were not worthy of getting exactly what you wanted, then you would not be alive. You would not be here. You wouldn't say that a seed is not worthy of becoming a tree. So why would you say that you are not worthy of everything you desire? Because desire from you expands into the universe, and by getting what you want and aligning with desire, you are adding to creation. So you would not have a desire if it was not already fulfilled, meant to be fulfilled, and you are so worthy of receiving it. Number 6, shame is the toughest emotional state to heal and to move through. And it's also the lowest vibration you can feel as a human, because to feel shame is to feel incomplete rejection of self. And you come to earth to master the self. So when you feel rejection to self, especially in such a deep emotion like shame, you feel rejection to life, you are in rejection to all that is. So to find a way to heal through shame is to acknowledge and re-own and reclaim parts of you that you have deemed or judged to be not good enough. Because at the end of the day, everyone is so worthy. So to feel unworthy and guilt and bad and shame is out of alignment with the non-physical, the soul, or the God within you's perspective of you.
If you stick your feet in apple cider vinegar when you have fungus on your feet, then the acids inside can help break down and eat away at the foot fungus. If you rub diaper cream all over your face when it's dry and inflamed, then the zinc oxide can help lock in moisture and form a protective barrier on the skin. If you take duct tape and you place it on your skin when you have a wart, then the duct tape can help suffocate the wart, causing it to begin falling off in about 6 days.
So they say authenticity vibrates at a frequency that's like 2,000 times higher than love or something like that. So that got me thinking, what would happen if 2 completely authentic people were completely in love and they had a baby, and the baby was conceived from that frequency, from that vibration, from that... Doesn't it have... What if it has something to do with how the kid turns out, how it was conceived? Like with the emotion that it was conceived in. What am I talking about?
Weird yet cool advice that I've gotten from my clients' higher selves as a past life regression hypnotherapist. Number 1, sleep alone sometimes because it's important for your energy field to reset. If you're within 6 feet of someone else, then there could be energetic influences. And so even if you have a partner, it's important sometimes to take that reset and to sleep by yourself. Number 2, everyone can talk to trees. You just have to clear your mind. I giggled at that one, but I've done it many times. And even though they communicate a little bit differently than picking up on other psychic information, talk to trees. It's so cool. Number 3, what you put in your mind is way more important than what you put in your body. Your beliefs can actually influence how you digest food and what the food does for you. It's crazy. Number 4, don't sleep with a pillow. Don't elevate the head while sleeping, because it can affect how your blood flows and how your cerebrospinal fluid flows. And it's actually more appropriate to elevate the feet while you're sleeping. That is just what my client's higher self said, because in past lifetimes, this client, the culture revolved around having their sleeping position at a tilt with your head below your feet. It was like wild to hear. And also, I have like not substantiated that. I heard it one time. However, in the last few years, I started to not sleep with a pillow and my neck has felt way better. So I don't know, just anecdotal. Number 5, if you talk to your water and infuse it with positive intentions and then drink it, it affects your body in a really positive way. So my client's higher self said, start talking to your water every day. Okay, and this will be the last one for now. My client's higher self was explaining parallel realities to her because she was really caught up about making a life decision, and this is what it said. That every time you have a major life decision or a decision in general, both options get played out. So whatever one you're choosing is what one you're experiencing, but a parallel version of you in a parallel timeline of reality is experiencing the other one. So it's almost calling for like lightening up a little bit when it comes to life decisions, because all things are going to get experienced.
You know that old saying, in sickness and in health till death do you part? Well, that has never become more prevalent until I started having to pack my husband's ass. Yeah, you heard that right. So he, about a month ago, started feeling something on his bum, on his booty area, right? And it was just a bruise. And I was like, well, maybe you hit it, you fell on it, whatever. No big deal. And we kind of let it go for a few weeks until this bruise just didn't go away. Bruises typically go away. This one just kept getting bigger, right? And I was like, that's not right. Like, you need to go get seen. Well, because of our medical health care, when we tried to get seen, it took us a good month just to get in. And when we did, the doctor's like looking at it going, I have no idea what that is. I don't know what that is. And I was like, well, could it be a cyst? Could it be something that, you can acerbate and, pull out any liquid, because it was draining a little bit. And she's like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get an ultrasound, because before I refer you to a surgeon, before even telling us what could possibly be, then let's go get an ultrasound. So we wait 2 weeks to get an ultrasound, finally get the ultrasound, and then the surgeon's office calls us and says, hey, we're going to schedule you for an appointment. We go in there, and my husband goes, well, what did the ultrasound say? He's like, what ultrasound? I haven't seen an ultrasound, right? He's like, I don't require an ultrasound. I can feel it, and I can see that something needs to be removed. So basically, you just send us for an ultrasound just to get more money out of us. That's my thought anyway. So I'm not a doctor. I am not a surgeon. But I would think that if you're removing something, then I've watched Dr. Pimple Popper, right? And they put like one little incision. They take these clamps and open it up and then dig out whatever they got to dig out, right? No, this doctor literally left a gaping hole in my husband's ass. When I say gaping, it is as big as this. I use 2 of these to cover the area once I pack it. When I'm talking about packing, this is it. So I take this, and I have to take little sheets of it, like pull it off. I dip it in some saline, and then take one of these neat things and literally shove this stuff into his wound. Like, I can see his butt meat. Literally his butt meat. So I clean it out with saline solution and then take this stuff and then just pack it all in there. And I'm like, how the hell is this wound ever going to heal? Like, this is an open gaping wound. This isn't something they closed up and like stitched. It is literally just open. What? So, I feel bad for my husband. I actually talked to him about this before I did this video. And he was like, no, go ahead and talk about it. And to this day, I asked the doctor after the surgery was all over, I said, so what was it? And he was like, I have no idea. You have no idea? So they send it to pathology, so we'll find out in another 2 weeks what it is. But in the meantime, we're just over here packing wounds, right? You get a little close together when you have, so every night, every morning, I have to put them on the bed here, clean out the wound, and then pull out with these all the gauze that I had last time. And let me just tell you, that stuff is like full of blood, and it hurts when you're pulling that stuff out of an open wound. And then you're like, okay, take a deep breath. I'm going to pack it with this. And what they give them for painkillers? A little bit of Tylenol. Yeah. So it'll take about a month. I can't even see how it will heal, like at all. I asked the doctor, I was like, how long till this closes? He was like, oh, at least a month. How does it close at all? When I tell you it's as big as my palm, I'm like, how does this wound just close? Y'all be safe out there. Well, we don't know what it is yet, but I can now safely say that I've been with my husband through sickness and in health because I'm packing his ass.
I am so glad you asked, Nicole. So if the Nephilim could possibly still be roaming the earth today, where would they hide? Let's get into the tea. Pull up a chair, get your popcorn, get whatever you need, because we're going to get into it. Y'all already know on this channel we have been talking about the Nephilim. If you're new to this, Nephilim are basically giants, and biblically they were created by fallen angels procreating with women, mortal women, and their offspring were giants. Now back in Bible times, because of oxygen levels and many other things, they were huge, as tall as cedar trees. But now, after the flood of Noah, they could be way smaller. I'd say, just a rough guess, 13 feet. Because that's how tall the giant of Kandahar was. And if you don't know about the giant of Kandahar, I have a video on it. I will do another one if you guys want. Just let me know in the comments. Where was the giant of Kandahar found? In a cave, right? I'm going to ask you a quick question. Do y'all know we have over 420 miles of caves under the United States alone? Just the United States. Specifically right there. And that is the Appalachian Trail. If y'all know anything about the Appalachian Trail, you know it's not to be messed with, but that's not what this video is about. I genuinely believe that there are crazy things going on. Oh yeah, TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only, none of it's true. I genuinely believe that these cave systems are used for crazy things. Mind you, the upper part of that map that I showed you is the map of people that have vanished, if you know what I mean. So why would the map of vanished people be the same as the map of the cave systems? What do the giants eat? Yes, they have been known to eat regular food and the resources that humans use, but when that doesn't fulfill them, they're known to eat other things, if y'all know what I mean, like the giant of Kandahar. Let's not forget that it's not only above ground caves, it's also underwater caves. So what if it's not just Nephilim under there? What if it's also their mothers? If y'all know anything about their mothers are the mortal women that procreated with the angels, and the book of Enoch says that they were cursed to the sea. Now, obviously, the ocean is not under cave, but it is a body of water. It might be a reach, but it just tickles my pickle to think about these things. I don't know. I truly believe that we literally don't know anything. Like, nothing is as it seems, and I can spend hours thinking about what could be happening. Like, do you understand? I don't know if you guys are as interested in this stuff as I am, but we could definitely keep talking about it. You have now reached giant talk. And it's not only the caves that these Nephilim could be hiding. I just recently got introduced to Gog and Magog. Did a video on it, but it's basically a species of people that's hidden away. And I wouldn't be surprised if Gog and Magog was actually behind the ice wall in Antarctica.
This is the part that the Elon stands don't understand. SpaceX is worth $350 billion on a $10 billion revenue, making it a 35x multiple. Okay, so if they're bringing in $10 billion and they're not even breaking even on that, and they're saying multiply it by 35, that's how much the company's worth. Okay, they were making $10 billion, they just lost 7. Okay, so what's it worth now? What's he worth now? Very little. Because it was never going to break even in the first place. As he originally said, there is not enough TAM, there is no total addressable market in global launch demand to justify one company like SpaceX. I hope that's very clear, okay? Even if SpaceX was in control of every single orbital launch on Earth, they wouldn't break even. They're not. There are many competitors. Every single developed nation, almost, has their own orbital launch capability, and they're doing their own launches. So the TAM, the total addressable market, is not the world, because all of these other countries want to have their own domestic orbital launch capability. What that tells you is, this company never had a future to begin with. That's why they created Starlink. That was the express purpose for which they created Starlink, which is a garbage way of delivering internet. If one person is using it versus 2 people, the total bandwidth is now cut in half. You're going to deliver internet to billions of people that way? It's just insane. The bandwidth is so small for the whole network. It could never be an answer to the problem it's trying to solve. And it could never be justified with the insane prices they're charging. And Even Starlink is nowhere near breaking even. They're relying on investors to continue buying all this equity that they supposedly have, they're going to someday be able to pay for. It doesn't work. It's all a house of cards. And they just lost, 70% of their annual revenue when they already weren't breaking even with all these competitors coming online. Like, for example, the Amazon one. Amazon makes money. They can afford to lose money all day. That's their whole MO. Diapers.com refused to sell to Amazon, so they created a copy of it, lost money all day, updated the prices automatically to be lower than Diapers.com until they went out of business, and then they bought it out of bankruptcy, and now they own it. And they're going to do the same thing to SpaceX.
Random spiritual information that I've learned from working as a past life therapist, part 3. An unborn baby's soul can be actively around the mother's energy field for years prior to incarnating in a body. And in fact, the soul contract that was signed to allow a specific soul to be born to a specific set of parents or mother or person was signed prior to even the parent's birth. Number 2, it is possible for a soul to reincarnate within the same family. It's unlikely if a person passes a middle-aged or old age, but it's much more likely for a soul to reincarnate within the same family if they passed as an infant, a child, or a young adult. And I have had this happen before. I had a client who was the reincarnation of her own maternal grandmother. Number 3, not everyone has a primary soulmate, or what people can call a twin flame. Or, not only that, but you can have more than one. And it's because you exist in this pod of souls and you incarnate together in a romantic capacity in order to learn lessons and to help each other grow and evolve. But not every soul chooses to have that type of dynamic, and some souls choose to have more than one to do those lessons with. Number 4, if you're born a twin, that was a really specific soul contract and lesson that you wanted to accomplish. And in the cases where I have regressed either one twin or both twins out of the group, I found that they chose not to be alone. And there might have been karma with the twin, might have not, but either way, they're choosing to go through life from conception and through their formative years with a companion. It's really sweet. Number 5, if you're adopted, you went exactly where you needed to go. Because when I've regressed adopted people, they tend to have strong soul connections with their adoptive family, not just their birth family. Some people I've adopted have no connection to the birth family at all, and some have an even mix between. Either way, there was an important lesson, and the soul knew prior to birth that it wasn't going to stay with the biological family. And the last one for now. Despite people wanting to know if they have close soulmate connections in their lives, like is my spouse my soulmate, things like that, I've found that everyone that's important to you in some capacity is a soulmate of some kind. Everyone that you meet, everyone that's important to you, your spouses, your colleagues, your children, your best friends, those people have something important to show you, to mirror to you, and whether or not you are a part of the same soul family or soul group doesn't really matter. You still sign soul contracts together and you're still helping each other in a major way this time. So despite maybe questioning if they're right for everyone that you encounter, everyone that you meet is there at the exact point in time that you need them.
This is what the fastest programmer in the world looks like. Make me a calculator app. Make the calculator much bigger. Make the colors more vibrant. I mean, is this even programming anymore?
Did you guys see the video of the dad smacking the little girl who was bullying his son? Literally, the girl looked like she was like 12 or 13 years old. The boy looked like he was maybe like 7 or 8. And she was saying something to him. And the dad was telling her, like, he was standing right there. And he's like, you need to stop speaking to my son like that. And she was like, okay, bye. And she went past him to say something to the son. And the dad, doom. Why does that remind me of when I was younger? Because I was growing up and there was this girl that was like 2 years older than me, and she told everybody she wanted to fight me. I didn't want to fight her, but she told everybody she wanted to fight me, okay? And instead of actually coming to fight me, she didn't do anything. So like an idiot, I took it upon myself to go to her house and knock on her door, because I was like, what, you out here telling everyone you're gonna beat me up? So what's up? Yeah, knocked on that door. Her aunt opened it. I was 13. Her aunt was 28 years old. And I know that because when she opened the door, she said, what are you doing here with your little 13-year-old self? I am 28 years old. And I had the audacity to look this grown woman in her face and tell her to her face, I'm here to fight your niece. Like, what do you think? When I tell you she slapped the dirt out of me, she said, bow, right in my face. And I can hand to God tell you, to this day, that is the first and only time I have ever been open hand slapped in the face by another woman. Best believe I took my ass home.
A lot of starseeds actually end up having smaller families, and a lot of starseeds are child-free right now. There are many reasons for that. The more children you have, the more karmically tied to planet Earth you become. And so there is that innate remembrance for starseeds that, okay, like if you know, maybe children are not what what I should be doing right now. So enough of them choose to not have children.
Look at the maps of the world's most important infrastructure. I've highlighted these, and look, they're wild. Just wait. So first is roads. So all the pink is roads. There's a ton of roads, obviously, except for like certain patches where there's no roads. I wonder if they're taking into account dirt roads or just like, these are railroads. Look how many railroads there are, especially up here. There's tons of them. Very rail dense. But what about airports? Let's look. But before we do, let's look at the cities. So these are all the cities. You could tell they all kind of correlate with each other. Western United States, pretty empty. Northern Africa, empty. Center of South America, pretty empty. Here's the airports. This is a shocking amount of airports. I feel like I did not expect this many airports. I feel like it's more lit up, or as lit up, than the city. And then seaports. Look how many seaports there are. There's a ton of them. I mean, obviously here, anywhere you have more coastline, there's going to be a lot more, but yeah.